Hi, I'm Pip, Brightstore member, self-taught cook and owner of a small catering company in Brighton called The Zesty Bowl. Today I'm going to make a really simple coleslaw recipe using ingredients you can find at Brightstore, things like carrot, cabbage, onion, and things that you're likely to have in your fridge already. So this coleslaw is much healthier, much more delicious than a shop-bought coleslaw. Really easy to make. You don't need any special equipment, and it's really great to have in the fridge. You can have it as a side with your dinner. You could have it with a barbecue in the summer. You could throw it in a cheese sandwich to make a cheese sandwich more interesting. So hope you like and follow along.
Okay, so first thing you do is peel your carrots as you would normally, and then chop off any bits that are a bit gnarly, chop off the ends, and just get them all nice and ready to be grated. And then with your cabbage, peel off any bits of the outside of the cabbage that are a bit old. Take out the middle section because that bit's quite hard and not very nice to eat, so you want to try and take that bit out. And what I did was I cut it in half again so it's easier to chop then, because the aim with a coleslaw is to try and chop it as thin as you can. Now, you don't need excellent knife skills for this, you just need a sharp knife. Try and get it as thin as you can because it will make the coleslaw taste better if it's not too chunky. Do the same again with the other half. So that's a small cabbage that I've used there to make this much coleslaw. So put that all in a bowl, ready to mix with all the other ingredients. So again, all you need there is a chopping board and a knife and a bowl. Get a grater and grate up your carrot as fine as you can. If you've got a food processor, you can use a food processor if you want it to be quicker. You could also grate the cabbage in a food processor as well. But do that. I think I used 3 carrots here to make that much, 3 small carrots. And then I added that grated carrot in with the cabbage. And last thing to add is onions. Now, I'm showing you 2 onions there, but I actually only used 1 in the end. So if you chop the ends off your onion and chop it in half, then you can peel off the outer skin. And you want to try and make the onions again as thinly sliced as possible. So I just lay them out on the board and I go from the round end, if you can see here, and you can try and do them as thinly as possible. This is because big chunks of red onion are not very nice to eat. So you can take your time, you don't have to do this really quickly. As I said, you don't need excellent knife skills. I'm not a trained chef, but just try and do it as thinly as possible so that you haven't got really big chunks of red onion. So once you've done that half, you do exactly the same with the other half. Again, making those nice rounds and as thin as possible. I'll show you in a minute kind of how thin you're looking to make them. And then add those to the cabbage and to the carrot. And now we're going to make the dressing. So I had some Greek yoghurt here, mustard, mayonnaise, a bit of lemon, some white wine vinegar, and salt and pepper. So I only had a small amount of Greek yoghurt left in the pot, so I just made my dressing in that pot, but you could obviously just grab a bowl. I reckon you probably need about 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons of Greek yoghurt, and then as much mayonnaise as you'd like to put in, maybe a tablespoon or more. And then I've just got 1 teaspoon of the white wine vinegar. You could use apple cider vinegar, you could use red wine vinegar, 1 teaspoon of mustard, pepper, a bit of salt, and then mix it up all together. The best thing about using yoghurt in a dressing like this is that you don't have to use so much mayonnaise, and obviously mayonnaise is quite fattening. I just squeezed a little bit of lemon in there. That's not essential. If you don't have a lemon, it doesn't matter. But yeah, using yoghurt means that it doesn't taste quite so fatty. It's a little bit lighter and a little bit sharper, which is really nice for a coleslaw. Give it a taste test Add any more salt and pepper if you think you need it. And then all you do is add the dressing onto the grated cabbage, the grated coleslaw, and the red onion. Mix it all in as best you can. I'm using my favourite spoon, which means I can get everything out of the pot. Mix it all up. Make sure every part of it has got some dressing on it. I've taken out some really big chunks there because as I was moving it around I found some really big chunks of cabbage which aren't so nice. So you can do that if you want, or you leave them in, it's up to you, but I just prefer not to have such big chunks in it. So I've dressed it all, I've completely covered it in the yoghurt and mayonnaise, and this is an added extra. You do not need this, it's not essential, but I added a little bit of mint because I had some left in the bottom of my fridge. Not much, but you could add some parsley, you could add coriander if you had it, you could add some basil, anything you want. And there is your finished coleslaw, all mixed up, a bit of extra herbs. Now, just going to do a little taste test, see what I think. It's good, but it needed a little bit more salt. So I added a tiny little bit more salt. Again, that's for preference. You can add as much or as little as you like, but it's always good to taste the food and just check if it needs anything else. And again, this is an added extra. I love to put some seeds in my coleslaw. You can pick up those seeds really easily from any supermarket. Those ones are from Lidl. Add a few seeds and it makes a nice crunchy coleslaw. And there we have the finished product. Enjoy!